Oh, yeah. Sunday night news time. Hope you've had a great Easter. Hello to all those on Rumble, X, Instagram, maybe Podbean. Not sure where y'all at. Facebook, YouTube. Good to have everybody. God bless all of you. Happy Easter. Oh, yeah. Hello, Miss Jennifer. How are you? Thank you for the kind words. And to Miss Beverly Boss. I like the name, Beverly Boss. I like that. There's a ring to it, you know. You need a name. That's why Dave in the AM. That's why I had it just kind of happened. I was looking. I don't know, one early in the podcast, almost a year ago, I said something about, I don't know, we were setting up a morning show, our first morning show, first or second one. I think it was the first one. Rob was like, I don't know about doing morning shows. I'm like, come on, man. It's going to be good. He loves it now. He does 3 with me, and then I do 2 on my own. One of those. I was looking for a tagline for something. I don't know. I just said Dave in the AM. It just kind of rolled. Stayed with it. It's stuck. So it's good. It's good to have you. We're going to look at several things tonight. If the screen is glitching, I guess because I'm linked up again with Rumble Studio. We're running about 11 or 12, 13 different streams. So every once in a while, they kind of get glitchy. Sorry about that. Some streams we just do Rumble. Some streams we just do certain things, but it's a big one tonight. Anyway, had a great Easter. I hope you did. Good day at church this morning. Traveled to get the granddaughter this afternoon. Back from mom's. Got to go to the ortho tomorrow, check on her broken arm or supposedly broken arm. We don't know if it is or not. Get the official x-ray determination tomorrow. Keep praying for her. I hope you was able to make it to church. I hope you had a good time in church. Lots of information over the weekend. Enjoyed, by the way, Saturday's programs. Let me give a shout out to Killer Carl. I got to catch most of his show last night. Really bringing it. I like it. Kicking butt, taking names, laying it down. I think it's good. A little frustrated with some people. We'll look at a little bit of that tonight too, but not as many. But I think I'm going to look at about 4 different cabinet picks tonight and just do a little update, kind of where things are. Some news of the weekend, some news of today we will look at that's going on. And then maybe a few other little things too. In the South in sports news, though, I want to start there, even though it's not political news. That's kind of what I do. But we do a sports show. We're overdue for a sports show. We do the racing hour, and we're overdue for a sports show. But in the news, the Tennessee quarterback has found a new home at UCLA. That's big news down here in the South of college football. We live and breathe and die and do it all over again. College football. Going to UCLA. Took a little pay cut there, buddy. He's closer to home. I hope he's happy. Kind of an odd thing. We got this whole NIL and everything's went crazy. It's like a wild, wild west. It just keeps changing. And he is out at Tennessee. Weird. Don't understand them sometimes. Making all kinds of money, want more. Try to put the squeeze on. Didn't have enough credits in the bank account there for that one, though, in your performance bank account. And then when he went behind their back and was in the portal or checking about teams about being in the portal, that kind of sealed his deal. Also, a shout out to Angry Conservative 1981. Listen to his interview series with the man, one of his interview guests from the mountains. I enjoyed that very much. I will be on with him in 2 weeks. Well, a little less than 2 weeks now. Not this coming Saturday, but a week from Saturday. We'll be live, 11 a.m. on that Saturday, Eastern Standard Time live. Thank him so much for making that possible. He didn't have to do that, but I appreciate him doing that and making sure that the time was convenient for me. And he's doing one this coming Saturday at midnight, which I'll watch live. I get off at midnight on Saturday, believe it or not. I'll be watching that one live on the way home. He hasn't revealed who it is, but he said they're close to Trump in a wheelchair. Interesting. Some interesting hints there, angry conservative. They'll give his show a look too, and Empty Pockets podcast, and there's so many others. Appreciate all of our podcast brethren across the political spectrum, the conservative, from all over the country. We appreciate them. Patriot Mobile, promo code Cornbread. Our landing page just landed. Houston, we have landed. Landed last week. I think it was the end of the week before. We're getting some of the you see on the screen behind me. They're sending us all kind of digital stuff. Thank them for that. They're awesome. Use that promo code Cornbread to make the switch. I'll be talking to them tomorrow, matter of fact. Switching another one of mine over. You get the first month free. I'll say it till the day I die. I love having a conversation with a company in a business setting. In the business setting, we talk about Jesus Christ. Absolutely. You say you can talk business and put Jesus in it? I want Jesus in my business meeting. I don't want to make any bad decisions. First and Second Amendment, pro-life. Count me in, baby. Patriot Mobile. Helping the Southern Front, vice versa. Great. Everybody, all of our listeners who are Patriot Mobile fans, they stole their greatness. We don't have to say anything. Speaks for itself. Mammoth Nation, too, another affiliate. Starting tomorrow, we'll highlight vendors again. We kind of got away from that. We'll highlight some vendors for Mammoth Nation. I just go through and pick out some that really interest me. There's so many to pick from. But I do love Mammoth Nation. Lifetime member here. They run those specials. Got it half off. Couldn't beat it. I said, I got to do that. I'm not going anywhere. Make all that savings back. That's money well spent. And then I don't have to fool with it anymore. I don't have to worry about the monthly deduction. It's just done. I like that. I hope I live a long life too. I don't want it to be short. A couple other affiliates, W Energy. I'm drinking some W here tonight in the studio. I need a little pick-me-up. I got a little coffee too, but no crashes, no shakes. Kind of helps the mental acuity. I haven't tested fully. I don't know. Maybe for me. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Not their fault, mine. But my mind. And then Podbean, which we're broadcasting live through tonight. We are an affiliate of them. With W's promo code Southern Fried. They've been running crazy specials like 40% off. They're just begging to do business. They do like a 1 hour half off sale or 80%. I've seen them do crazy stuff. For the next hour, we'll double your order for free. I love that. Kind of reminds me of the old days. I'm fixing to get the news, folks, but it kind of reminds me of the old days. Kmart. You ever went to Kmart back in the day, the blue light specials? Boy, people just hang out and shop, window shop. They'd wait for the blue light special. Then here they'd go. We now have a blue light in linen. Here we go, all the buggies. You could hear, it's like a racetrack. All the people going to the blue light special. For the next 15 minutes, we'll have half off all sheets or something. It's just great. I love that kind of thing. I think it's fun. And I'm not even really a shopper, but that's kind of cool stuff right there. So like they send me an email, and it's like I'm right in the middle of something. I'll check my emails and I'm like, oh man, you just sent me like 50% off. I was like, oh, okay. I would have intended on buying something, but I just got to do it. That's great marketing. God bless them. And God bless the United States of America. I've been saying it a lot lately. I'm proud to be American. I apologize for nothing. I have no guilt. If the world expects me to have guilt as an American citizen about anything, shut your pie hole. I don't. They say that's tough talk for a preacher. I don't care. I apologize for nothing. We done paid many times over for whatever we done wrong. if anything. Everybody wants to criticize us, but yet they love us. They want our markets. The World Health Organization is crying today and saying that the money that the U.S. is not spending there is impacting their ability to treat illnesses across the world. Are we the only member of the World Health Organization? I mean, we were paying most of the bill. You see, you start getting them off that welfare check, because that's what it is. Nobody paying their fair share. The President Trump comes along and says you're going to pay your fair share. That's all we're asking. They don't want to, nobody wants to do it. They want America to America to put the money out there, pay for 75% or more of these things. The UN, same way. And they want to turn around and they want to criticize us on every single thing we do, that we suck. I mean, that's pretty much the message from the world. You suck, America. But boy, they sure do like the money train. They want the markets upside down. They want to get the best deals. They don't care about us, the American consumer taxpayer. They don't care. And then they want to criticize us when we draw back a little bit and say, well, you know what? I've been getting shafted here as Uncle Sam says, I've been getting shafted. Let's correct some of this. They hate us even more. I don't care. I don't care. I shed no tears over it. God bless America. Best nation on the face of the planet. Anybody don't like it? I don't care. It's like, I've had people tell me sometimes, there's some people that don't like you. I've heard that before in my life. It's not a shock. There's some people don't like you. I don't care. I mean, what do you do? Somebody says, I'm friends with so-and-so. And they really don't like you. Tough. You're their friend, so it doesn't matter. We're friends, y'all friends. We don't got to be friends. I didn't make them an enemy. They don't like me. I can't help it. I can't please everybody. You will drive yourself crazy trying to meet the friendship demands of people out there. You drive you crazy. They'll just keep on taking. You ever have friends like that, so-called friends? They just take and take and take and take. And then when you draw back a little bit, the first time that you don't meet their explicit need, to go above and beyond whatever demand it is, and the first time, oh, you suck. They trash you. You start seeing your name popping up, a little trash, comments on the internet. Like, oh, I see where I stand. That's the way it is in America. Everybody really hate us. We know there are nations that hate us. They just come right out. They don't say they hate us. They say they're going to destroy us. How about the Houthis? They got hit again. I love this. Could they just open their mouth a little more? Go for it. Make our day. We had an administration that was pulling their pants down and bending over in front of the world, in front of little, dictatorships like that, the Houthis, sending them piles of cash, apologizing for America. My God. Run your mouth now. The Houthis get slammed again. I think we hit a port. Let's just love that. I do. I hope you do as well. The Houthis. They're like a top 10 group now. Nobody ever heard of them. It's like, I thought they were one-hit wonder, but they've been able to, get out 2 or 3 top hits. The first hit was, we put a warhead on your forehead. That was the first one. A few of them raised their heads again. They said, you know what? We're the Houthis. We're going to bomb all of your ships. They made up videos of dead American sailors floating on the water with ships sinking and burning into the ocean. So we hit them again. We put a couple of warheads on their foreheads. We had come up with part 2. You had Kiss Alive, then Kiss Alive 2, then Kiss Alive 3. I don't know. Some people didn't think a 3 was as great as 2, and some like 1 better. I don't know which hit they like better, but we hit them again. And then over the weekend, they ran their mouth again, and we hit them again. I don't even know if they ran their mouth. I say that. I think they've been kind of continually running their mouth, but we hit them again. We hit their port. The Houthis are like, it's like, can you just see the other terrorists around the region that are not Houthis? By the way, I bet those that call themselves Houthis is dropping. I don't think anybody's got that title over their door right now. I'm a Houthi, Deputy Director Houthis, Yemen. I think they take that down. They've changed the name. And the other terrorists are looking at them and going, come on, man. They're like Joe Biden. Come on. I mean, every time you run your mouth, I mean, they're hitting you. It's making us all look bad. I mean, you got to hold up your end as a terrorist. I mean, you're not even like doing anything. You run your mouth, they're hitting you. It's making us all look weak, dude. I mean, stop. The Houthis. Good gosh. What a bunch of losers. Let's hit them again. I mean, if the president just needs something positive for a news cycle, you know, it's like, Mr. President, they're hitting us hard over the El Salvador situation. You know, he's like, yeah, I'm getting sick of hearing it. Well, we need a win, Mr. President. Just hit the Houthis again. I mean, we can hit them again. I mean, have they said anything lately? Well, they kind of open their mouth a little bit. Oh, well, let's hit them. Let's hit them. What haven't we hit of theirs? I mean, we hit their command and control. We hit their bomb-making facilities. Well, Mr. President, there's a port out there. They actually call it the Houthi port. I mean, I don't know what it's called. But, let's hit it. Let's hit it again. Let's make sure it's just a smoking hole on the coast. Okay, good. That's a good news cycle. I'm sorry if that offends you, but I kind of like it. Hello, Barry. How you doing, brother? Hope you've had a great Easter. Here comes the Houthis. Hey, we're the Houthis. Oh, the left is all crying about the El Salvador situation. And the Supreme Court. Did they have to come in on the weekend? I mean, really? Samuel Alito is really taking them to task over this movement over the weekend of stopping the president or making the ruling, the temporary ruling of holding back the ability to ship any more Venezuelans out. Cried about it. I'm so sorry, Mr. President, you have to deal with this. I mean, they're trying their best to slow him down, right? Rogue judges making little rulings. Now the Supreme Court says, hey, we can do that too. Oh, the Mayhaw Festival was a blessing, Barry. We learned some things. There's some things that we learned out of it. Lots of connections made with citizens in the area. A lot of interviews coming out of that festival. We have quite a few lined up. Some are just political. Some are vendors. We really want to have on the gator tail people out of Moultrie, Georgia. Those guys were a hoot. Shout out to them. They're excited about coming on. I said, that's a front porch talking show if I've ever heard it. So it went great. They were tired. We were all tired, even though I was not down in the middle of it, working from here. We got a mic issue. We think there was something wrong. We didn't know it was wrong. I think at the home it was just he's doing some research on that because it's working fine there. But we think maybe it switched or something on site. He checked everything, but that's how it goes. We'll figure it out. Festival 2, we'll have those things corrected and deal with anything else that pops up. But thanks for asking. In fact, Robert called me today. I was headed up to Decatur to get the kiddo, and he was telling me a lot of the updates and stuff after he had gotten some rest as well. ARA and got a lot of donations for the animal rescue, and about all the signs were given out. And then you could see people walking through with them on our camera. They gave out just about every yard sign, whatever sign they had, standing against the monkey farm there in Bainbridge, Georgia. It's not over, folks. That was the message they had. I saw them on their own social media with that's two different groups that's come together. And, I was saying live on the air, I'll get back to the news here in just a second. I was saying live on the air how they, this is America, this is real America, how we stand together. We're not divided. even though we don't all agree on exactly the same things. And that's what Ms. Ravina was saying, is that the politicians want us to hate each other, but we don't. We love each other. And we have a lot of differences of opinion about something. But the major things that we agree on is just fine. We just look at things a little different. Yeah, Barry. Appreciate you wanting to do that, to give. I get it. There's other ways we could probably do that and make that happen. Robert made a donation for us while he was there. People were giving change. He put a 5 spot in there. Next thing you know, the jar fills up with cash donations. So good for them. And he thinks they might have made an adoption. Win-win. So cool. Folks, we're talking about ARA, Animal Rescue Alliance, in Donaldsonville, Georgia. We love those folks. Love those folks. And the opposition groups to the monkey facility proposed, not been built, proposed monkey farm, breeding facility. It's kind of been dubbed the monkey farm. 30,000 monkeys to be used. Hello, sweet Gina, coming in, Podbean. 30,000 monkeys eventually for breeding and holding there to be sold to labs across America for testing. We are dead set against that. So the monkey farm opposition groups. So anyway, we got a motorcycle safety person that's going to come on. I think there's several. We'll get them announced. By the way, this Friday night is when we have a Duncan for Senate from Texas, who's running for the John Cornyn seat. Now that's a tough haul. I mean, but there's a lot of conservatives not happy with John Cornyn over some things. He's pretty high ranked. But you know what? That's the beauty of America. Get out there and run. That's what we've said. And I'll have a card ready by tomorrow. We'll be showing all the shows leading up. He's going to be with us for 1 hour, Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, from 8 to 9. He said he's good for an hour, and we'll let him tell his story. I know he was a police officer for 12 years. Has a beautiful-looking family. He's a cowboy. It's Texas. I love it. Got the cowboy hat on and everything. That's a great-looking website. And, if John Cornyn looks at our little operation here and says, I want equal time, come on, brother. Come on. We want you on. I'd love to talk to John Cornyn. But Duncan for Senate, he's trying to get his name out there. We've talked. We haven't talked to him. We've talked to his media relations person, specialist, whatever he's called, and great people. And he was kind of asking him questions as we asked questions, and pretty easy on our side. We just wanted to know what he was comfortable with, recorded, live, all those things. We don't care. Most people nowadays say live. I love it. It's like, hey, you go to all them streams? Yeah. Let's do live because it's recording it anyway. So, yeah. So the Houthis were hit. The Supreme Court makes a ruling to put a temporary. Come on. We're going to look at each individual case and give them some court time, slowing things down. The illegals. We want these people out of here. Criminals. Get them out. Speaking of peace, Trump says hopefully Russia and Ukraine will make a deal this week. They did have an Easter ceasefire. I didn't hear about it being broken. I don't know if there's any news on that. I don't know. But I was reading some news about the Ukrainian situation. It's dire. Little man, my little deputy is what I call him, Zelensky. He better make a deal because I don't think he can hold on much longer. And the only way that he could ever continue the war, even beyond, he can't even do it if we gave him the hardware. Even if we gave him more artillery shells, more HIMARS, more bullets, more this, more that. You can't do it without men on the street, or men on the front lines, rather. They've been taking all the men off the street and putting them on the front lines. And those guys are, let me tell you what I'm reading on the inside. And I've read a couple of sites that have reporting on this. They also, a lot of people didn't think that the militia leader who opposed Russia was a real deal. And they've shown video they've gotten a hold of recently showing them take down a Russian helicopter. in their when they was in a convoy situation. But anyway, we'll get that side up to you. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but looking at reports that's coming out of the Kursk region, Russia's been making advances back to push back the Ukrainians in that region, and there was a prisoner exchange. It was a prisoner exchange between Russia and Ukraine. About 200 and something Russians were exchanged for 36 or so Ukrainians, something like that. What the Russians are saying, and it's being verified, is that there's old men and boys in the front lines. Now, Russia suffered a lot more losses, fatalities, casualties of all kinds. I mean, the body bags are being unloaded in Russia every day, but they have more to offer. And they've also partnered with North Korea and other people around the world, paying them money. People are traveling to Russia to fight the front lines of Ukraine purely for money. Some of these people ain't coming back. It's brutal. But they said that what they're encountering is old men and boys. I mean, they just about exhausted their ability to wage war with the foot soldier, the infantry on the ground. Barry, does Rubio mention that Russia and Ukraine are not willing to go to talks, or is Zelensky playing games? Well, and Zelensky does play games. I've said it, he's probably going to have to be removed. I think a deal being done is him being out, but who knows? Maybe Trump can get that. I hope it happens. I hope that truly does happen, some kind of peace deal. But he seems confident that they're going to make a deal to end the conflict. And there's a YouTuber sharing the only videos I've seen the actual fighting in Ukraine and Russia. Yeah, the front lines are slog. I've seen quite a few videos. Whole tank columns being taken out. I mean, I will say this: those HIMARS, if you're familiar with that weaponry, has really been a big help for Ukraine. They have decimated a lot of Russian tanks. I mean, just obliterated whole tank columns. But the problem is they don't have the man and power and the weaponry to continue the fight. So that he believes that they're going. He posted this on True Social. They both accused each other of violating the Easter ceasefire. But he says right now Ukraine is hoping for a 30-day ceasefire with Russia. Russia has claimed that the war is only continuing because of Ukraine's hostilities, which, that's a back and forth they're going to have to work through. Ukraine proposed that Russia abandon drone and missile strikes on civilian infrastructure, which would be a good idea, Russia. I mean, come on. But you've got to do that as well, Ukraine, and you've done some of the same stuff as a return. If Russia does not agree to such a step, it will be proof that it intends to continue doing all of those things. This is Zelensky talking, which destroy human lives and prolong the war, that he wrote on X. Isn't it amazing? But back in the day, we had the ceasefire negotiations. It all happened behind closed doors. You see men coming out with briefcases, paperwork, slapping each other in the back for the camera, shaking hands from each side, saying we're getting close to a deal. Now it's all handled through social media. How times have changed. I just imagine if we had this ability, 100 years ago. 150 years ago, Abraham Lincoln on his X account. I had a meeting today with the representatives from the Confederacy. Our representatives and theirs are meeting at Richmond or Spotsylvania, so I don't know. And then Jefferson Davis post on his True Social or something. I don't know. It's just funny. It's the way the world has changed. Yeah, North Korea's impressive technology. They're off, and they're using these drawings of the bomb. North Korea, that's a good question, Barry. What did he want Ukraine to begin with? Well, I think there was many things. He had this. Ukraine was a money train for him, obviously, but the Democrats, it's the strangest ideology that because we know they're nuts. You remember when, and to give you context, even though they ridiculed him and he got ridiculed over it, the 9/11 response and everything, and President Bush is at the school, they come whisper in his ear, and that's been just graded and regraded and talked about and everything else. But if you remember right after that, right after President Bush is standing on the rubble at the Twin Towers, and somebody hollers, and he says, we hear you, we hear you, and our enemies are going to hear from us soon. I'm paraphrasing just a little bit. That's basically what he said. And, he had 100% support of Congress. Nobody opposed. There were those in the Democratic circles that cried that it should have been a Democrat to get credit for all that, to be able to have that on their resume, their record, as defeating, going after these terrorists and knocking the crap out of them, even though they criticized Ukraine and Afghanistan, all that stuff. They wanted that. I think President Biden, I think there was motives behind him that didn't have anything to do with him. We're talking about just him now, because I think the backdoor people who were running him, they had their own agenda too, and God knows what all they were really thinking in this. But Biden, for his part, if we're just asking that, what did Biden want with Ukraine in that? What did he want with this war? Why did he press this so hard? Is exactly that. He wanted to be the president that was able to say, I defeated Putin. I pushed him out, pushed him back. I hurt him so bad. Maybe even he thought he could get him to, be removed. Stupid. But I think that he thought, because he would, he'd always go on his little rants when he was talking about it. I'm the guy that's going after Putin. Nobody else. Everybody else is, I'll see it through. I stand with Ukraine. He was talking tough rhetoric, for his part only. I think he saw himself coming out of this thing a war hero. Seriously. That he was going to hit the circuit, write the book, standing there with his arms crossed and his blue little suit he wore a lot, with a picture of Russia behind him, with an X on it or something. I just think he thought that he was going to do that, and it was stupid. This is a guy. If we go back and we look at Biden early on, this guy was hitting around pretty hard about putting troops on the ground. I still think they had special forces. I have no doubt about that. They're experts on the ground. They were stuff, CIA stuff we're not going to hear about. But he wanted to put remember when he wanted to control this? They was giving them all the planes. Remember that? The F-15s, F-16s, all that. He was for setting up a, Air Force for them. He was talking some big crap. And, he wanted, by proxy, to have war with Russia. He wanted to take on Putin and win. It was the craziest thing, because they always talk about they're the party of peace. It's the warmongering Republicans that get us in all these wars. Well, look what the Democrats are doing. Decisions they've made and things they've done, and they're the ones that were talking more war. They're the ones that was talking about extending this thing, supporting it. They were somehow cowards, or it's not what America does if we pull back some. They wanted to criticize the president that he wouldn't see it through, But even though, look what they did in Afghanistan. But that's the nutso thinking I think that he had within his mind. It was very evident that he wanted to be able to have that on his resume. I kicked Putin's butt. Now, behind him, there's a lot of other reasons this happened, no doubt, and mostly involving money and power. Sure, and he was involved in that too. But he was a tool. But I think for him, that's what he wanted. So we'll see if the president can pull this off. It's It's not an easy thing, and we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see where that goes. I don't know. It's not easy, but hopefully he seems to be confident. And also, who gets the resources there? Who gets the minerals? Well, yeah, I mean, people talk about there's been all sorts of talk about biolabs and stuff. Putin is after power, energy. He has power. He's got that. But he's after controlling of energy in all of Europe. He's been doing that for some time. And he wants to push Ukraine back. He wants to push NATO back. And Biden was wanting to put NATO right on his border. He wanted to put it in his face. It was almost like a dare you. It's stupid. But I think there's a lot of things at play in the European theater. The Britons are talking, the Brits are talking tough again. The French, the Germans, they're all talking tough. Let them take them on. That's what they want. They want to fight a proxy war in Ukraine. Let them do it. Let them fund it, fight it. If they want to put boots in the ground, it's on you, Bob. But I'm glad we're hopefully pulling back and getting back. But I don't think Zelensky can hold out much further. So by default, he's going to have to make some sort of a deal. That's my opinion. That's Dave's opinion. And others can hate it. And that's fine. That's the way I see it. I don't think he can wage war much longer. I think the lines are so thin now. We know there were major gaps in those lines. And the Russians, to me, it's not surprising they're not on the doorstep of Kyiv. Got to give the fighting men in the field some credit. And I'm sure they're getting a lot of intelligence from us and others. A lot. There's no doubt that Elon has helped. There's a lot of help that's being given to them, pinpointing Russian units and things like that. So there's a lot going on in that scenario where they've helped prop them up on that. Not only with the money. I mean, we're paying for the whole government. Every worker is on the. I mean, they're on our payroll. It's stopping. I don't think it has fully stopped, but the Ukrainian government is basically on our payroll. We're writing checks. I mean, Zelensky gets his. We're paying into their 401ks and all that, their pension funds. This has been going on for a long time. The government has not been able to make the money and wage war as well. So that's where all the money's went. We're propping up. And then some have accused them of buying mansions around the world. And we talked about that the other night. So we'll see. We'll see. Can they get peace there? I don't know. But going back to the Supreme Court, I just wanted to circle back to that a minute. Always like that, the White House press secretary. I'll circle back. I say it facetiously, but I do want to go back to it just for a minute. And I don't like that they did that, and come out and made that emergency ruling. And I wish they just left well enough alone this temporary thing. And who knows, it might be overturned pretty quickly because that was a temporary ruling. They were afraid they were going to move people over the weekend. But I just don't like that. I just don't like that they did that and, put us in a position of having to review every single case. Let's get these people out of here, I say, and move on. We need to get these folks out of their country, and we know that. We're trying to do that. The president's trying to do that. And I just don't like that they went out and made that decision. But that's the way it goes. Congress, by the way, which we won't ever have enough votes, Congress can overrule the Supreme Court. That's truth. But you have to it's such a high threshold. They would never get that. But they did make that ruling. There was some people that come out, the Sunday shows always come out, politics. Senator Kennedy out of Louisiana, he kind of has some strong statements. He kind of flows both ways. Sometimes he's right in line, lockstep. There's sometimes you kind of wonder where he's kind of at on some stuff. But he did make some comments over the weekend about this and about removing of people. He was talking about rights and things that they have. And so, we'll see. That's that. Let me remove that. But I think some of these will continue. I don't think it's going to be. Barry says he was accused of having 2 yachts. So I think he's got a lot more than that, my friend. But I would say he's definitely got that. Definitely. But the Supreme Court did make that ruling, so we'll have to stand with it. And the administration is getting clarification and seeing where this goes with, they're going to follow the law. They're not going to break the law, but they're going to, try to get them to change their mind. I wanted to come back 4 hours ago. Samuel Alito had this to say about this, what he called unprecedented SCOTUS move to halt Trump's Venezuelan deportation. And he said, quote, legally questionable. He said that the SCOTUS decision did not allow the lower courts a chance to rule. So in a Fox News article, which is by, let me give full credit, Andrea Margolis, Justice Samuel Alito wrote a fiery dissent against the recent Supreme Court move to halt these deportations. And that was issued early Saturday morning and effectively blocked all of those. And those who signed off on it included Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, those 2 justices. Now, we're used to John Roberts making decisions that are not in what we see the best interest of conservatism and the law. But Amy has also jumped in that fray a little bit. And Brett Kavanaugh, they did do that. And this was to stop deportations out of the Texas Bluebonnet Detention Center. I don't know why they came up with that name, Bluebonnet, but anyway. Until further order of the court. Alito disapproved of the timing of the decision, which he described as being, quote, literally in the middle of the night, end quote. The court issued unprecedented and legally questionable relief without giving the lower courts a chance to rule, without hearing from the opposing party within 8 hours of receiving the application with dubious, this is Samuel Alito saying this, with dubious factual support for its order and without providing any explanation for its order, Alito wrote. The justice, who has served on the court since 2006, was joined by Justice Clarence Thomas, which we read about earlier in his dissent. He said, quote, I refused to join the court's order because we had no good reason to think that under the circumstances, issuing an order at midnight was necessary or appropriate. Both the executive and the judiciary have an obligation to follow the law. The executive must proceed under the terms of our order in Trump versus JGG 604 U.S. 2025, and the court should follow established procedures. Later on Saturday, counsel representing the Trump administration filed in opposition to the order. The lawyer said that the federal government gave advance notice to detainees before their deportations, allowing enough time to file habeas claims. The government has agreed to not remove, pursuant to the AEA, those AEA detainees who do file habeas claims, including the punitive class representatives, the filing states. Quote, this court should dissolve its current administration stay and allow the lower courts to address the relevant legal and factual questions in the first instance, including the development of a proper factual record, end quote. Of course, the ACLU had filed an emergency appeal arguing that federal immigration authorities appear to have resumed the deportations under the AEA, that's the Alien Enemies Act, by the way, of 1798 that they've been using. The Supreme Court previously allowed the White House to continue the deportations in a limited capacity as long as due process was provided. That act allows the deportation of natives and citizens of an enemy nation without an hearing and has only been invoked a few times, which we covered. And so we see from the justices themselves, there's some shock that they would do that at such a late hour. And I said it's a rarity. Why would they do that? And he makes a great point without letting the lower courts make a ruling on it. That's odd. It's very odd. And it's very odd that Kavanaugh and Coney or Barrett was a part of that. Very odd. It's a late ruling. And Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito standing tall on the conservative side of things. And a waffling. But it's not a ruling based on anything other than they just made a ruling. A temporary. It's not that they don't even have an official here's the finding related to the law. This is a temporary that it could possibly be not followed. A possibility of that. And so they put a halt on it because the ACLU was afraid that some criminals were going to be deported the heck out of here, illegals and everything. I mean, they're always first to jump and defend the rights of those that are not American. My gosh. So I like that. A lot of times people don't go back and take time to read the dissent. I think that's important to do because it kind of tells you what the flavor of the feeling was within the court, because it's so restrictive at the Supreme Court. You don't get, we don't see them. We get the audio, we get the rulings that come out, but we don't see them. It's a very restrictive court. When you go there and you appeal before the court, there's not a lot of, you don't get a lot of time, but they can do these emergency appeals, and they can or not even pick that up. But they decided to do it, and and make this ruling. So it was very odd. It was very shocking to see that order come up, because I do the Saturday morning show, and I did it even earlier because we were going to live stream from the Mayhaw Festival, and I had done a very, very early show, took a slight break, and came back. And within the time that I came back, that ruling was posted. It was very strange, very odd indeed that this happened. In some news, before we go to, I'm going to look at a couple other things. We're going to look at some grades for the administration. I'll take a quick break here in a minute. Ammo intercept. Mexican nationals arrested while transporting 180,000 rounds of ammunition from Utah to Colorado. Oh, yeah. Just rolling through the U.S., seeing the sights, going to Monument Valley, going to see the High Sierras and all that. Oh, let's haul some ammunition while we're doing that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. What a mess. What an absolute mess. We got these people causing all sorts of crime in our country, and we need to deal with it. And we just don't need some of those people here. We don't need that. And we need to get them the heck out of here. The president's trying to do that. And it seems like every judge we've never heard of, not talking about the Supreme Court, but it seems like every judge we've never heard of is raising their hand to get their 15 minutes of fame and saying, oh, let me be the next one, the next contestant to come down as a judge and try to stop President Trump. I mean, that should be the title of one of Trump's books in the future, is all about the judges, because he has seen so many judges that have attacked him, trying to pull him into their court, dress him down, use all kind of crazy rulings and stuff to try to halt the work that he's done or even stop him from being president. He needs a book that just deals with the legal system itself. Just that's one volume, and it'd be a thick volume. My gosh. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, God bless the president, what he's trying to do. And fully, now they said over the weekend that fully over 70% of Americans, I heard somewhere that over 70% of Americans are still positive towards what the actions he's taking to get these illegals out of here. I think it's higher than that. I really do. When they say 70%, whoever they are, when you hear that reported in news, I think you add 10% to it. I really do. I think it's over 80. It's 80 or above. I really believe that. I would say it's low 80s. Approve of this action. Nobody wants them here. And the ones that do, you're dealing with the knuckleheads anyway. So, that's just the way it is. Hey, we're glad you're here on a Sunday night. When we come back from the break, we're going to look at, I want to look at some grades for just 4 tonight. We'll look at some every week. And I want to look at 4 tonight. I want to look at Robert Kennedy Jr., Cash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Dan Bongino. These are some very recognizable names, and they've been in the news a lot as far as the cabinet members. Yes, there's others we could pick. There's others that we could look at, but for sake of time, I just want to take a quick look and kind of assign a grade to their performance, a kind of a high-low. You know, the high and the low, kind of where it sits, public perception of maybe where it sits. Now, I know some people would automatically go F on some of them, and somebody could get an F. But being fair and looking at, it's been a very brief amount of time, we'll kind of look at that. We'll assign a grade to it. Let's run a quick commercial break. I'm going to refill my coffee cup, and we'll be right back. So stay with us. Don't leave. Don't leave. It's Dave in the AM late on a Sunday night. We're here. We'll be back early in the morning for our Monday morning show with Rob. Back together again, SFP morning show, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go live. We'll bring you a little bit of news, weather, sports, birthdays, weekend. Rob will probably give us some updates about the festival as we get back together. We talked quite a bit today. And then tomorrow night is our legendary, long time running show, since we've been a show or a podcast, Mama Said with Miss Elizabeth. Love that. So we'll be right back. Let me run a couple things, and I'll catch up with chat as well. And let me go with Mammoth Nation. We'll be right back. Dave in the AM. Hey, Southern Fried fans and your Cornbread Nation. Well, yeah, that's right. We're going to advertise for Mammoth Nation. To all proud Americans, we call attention to these thoughts. Are you tired of woke corporations that don't align with your values? I know we are. Look no further than Mammoth Nation, the ultimate destination for patriots like you and me and Rob and everybody else, including old crazy Uncle Jeb, who believe in putting America first. Here at the Southern Fried Podcast, we're proud to partner with Mammoth Nation because they share our unwavering commitment to faith, family, and yes, freedom. Just like us, Mammoth Nation believes in the power of the American spirit and the importance of preserving our great nation's heritage. When you join Mammoth Nation, you're not just getting access to amazing discounts on products and services. You're becoming a part of a community that stands against the forces trying to tear our country apart. From supporting veterans and first responders to promoting Christian values, Mammoth Nation is the go-to platform for conservatives who want to make their voices heard. So what are you waiting for? Join the Mammoth Nation movement today and start enjoying exclusive deals from businesses that share your America First values. Together, we can make America great again, one purchase at a time. Don't miss out on this opportunity to support a company that truly cares about our nation's future. Sign up for Mammoth Nation now and experience the difference of a community that puts America first. Use that QR code on the screen, folks, and that will take you right to the website where we also will be helped in your support of these values. We are customers of this great American company. Rob is a monthly supporter, and I am a lifetime member of Mammoth Nation. We're so appreciative of companies like this. Please be a supporter, not just for us, but for America. These companies need our support. We're patriots. Stand together with patriots. Take care, and God bless. Hey, Southern Fried Podcast fans. This is Dave the AM for the Southern Fried Podcast. We want to advertise for W, who's got some special things going on. So are you tired of those energy drinks that you drink and they give you the jitters and the crashes that come from the typical drink? Look no further than W Energy Drink. It's a revolutionary new beverage that will keep you energized without any of those downsides. For a limited time, folks, W is offering an incredible 30% off on everything they sell. That's right. You can stock up on your favorite flavors and save big while enjoying the smooth, sustained energy that only W can provide. I'm a customer member, and I can testify to this. I love this drink. No shakes, no crashes. And if it can help my mental acuity, I'm happy too. Awesome. They have a unique formula that provides you a perfect balance of focus and vitality without any of those unpleasant side effects that we don't want. No more of those shaking hands, crashing you in the middle of the day. Just pure clean energy to help you tackle any challenge that comes your way. But don't wait too long. This 30% offer won't last forever. Go on over to W's website now and start shopping. Remember to smash that promo code Southern Fried into the area where they ask you to put that in there, and it'll help us as well. You're still going to get the 30%, but it'll let them know that you are supporting us, and so we appreciate it today. So try W Energy Drink and experience the difference for yourself. Your body and mind will thank you for making the switch to the energy drink that truly delivers on its promises. Don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to save big and upgrade your energy game with W. Don't forget, use that promo code Southern Fried. All right, back again, but not in the USSR, in the grand old republic, United States of America. Glad to be here. Hope you had a great day. I really do. Fantastic celebration of resurrection. Enjoyed those scriptures this morning. Had a guy send me we did a very early morning sunrise. I did a sunrise basically on the podcast. Got in before the sunrise and was doing that. I had a guy send me a note on one of the social streams. I don't remember which one, sorry. And he said, thanks so much for reading the Word of God. Absolutely. That's the power. Not me. Read the Word. Study the Word. Preach the Word. That's the power. Amen. So you are welcome, sir. It was an honor. It's always an honor to open the book and to read those. What a great day. We don't have Sunday night service on Sunday. I was traveling, as I said, and was back in studio this evening. Got some rest. I kind of lost some sleep Saturday night into Sunday morning. I was in late, up early. I don't recover like I used to for some of those things. I know that's shocking, right? Shocking. Like Spock, you know. Fascinating. Captain Kirk would say something. Spock. Fascinating. That's the way I feel sometimes, not. All right, the administration. Grades for the administration. And being fair, it's still such a short time in. But I think that here we are. We're late in April. Heck, we're past tax day. And my birthday is in, 16 days. 16 days. 15 starting tomorrow. People always, I don't celebrate birthdays anymore. Come on. I'd be like Joe. Come on, man. I look at it as a blessing. God still has me here. Absolutely. I get to do this thing that I love to do. I got great people like you that are watching and listening. How could I not want to celebrate a birthday? Praise God. You got another day. Live on this earth. Be a blessing to somebody. Be blessed by your family. You know, kids, grandkids, whatever. Yeah, challenges, sure. It's life. Deal with it. Move on. Get to live in the grand old republic. If you're an American, if you're living across the world, be happy where you're at. Find joy wherever you're at. It doesn't matter. Joy in Jesus Christ. I hope and pray I have many, many more birthdays to celebrate. And there is no shame in my game. I don't have an ego that way. I don't have vanity. I have no problem in saying that I'll be 60 years old. No problem with saying that. Some of you in this chat have suffered through medical issues and stuff. So we all have something. But to keep on pressing on, to keep on. Let me just say something real quick when we get to these grades. And I've never forgotten it. This is a Sunday night blessing for you. God's put it on my heart. I'm going to share it. If you're here for totally news and tune me out for the next 30 seconds or a minute, you'll miss a blessing though. But I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just saying, I always got accused of some people accuse me as a preacher like, you chase rabbits too much. I don't care. Again, what I say, I don't care. You know what? If it's on my heart, I share it. I always circle back to the word, to the agenda, to the outline, to that thing that I'm preaching. Absolutely. But, sometimes you just got to share stuff. My dear and precious mom has been with Jesus for many years now. I was at a church in, I wasn't in Ohio yet. I think I was moving over into Ohio. All you folks in Ohio, God bless you. Was speaking at I was going to be at a missions conference in Ohio. I think I was in Pennsylvania, if I remember right. I think it was in Pennsylvania, if I remember right. Anyway, whatever it was, it doesn't matter. I was at this church on a Sunday night presenting missions. And long story short, and I promise it's short, this guy impacted me a lot, and God definitely put him on my path. And thank you, Barry. Yes, I hope I make it. At the end of the service, they always come up. I had a table, and people are coming up to me. There was a guy waiting patiently in a wheelchair. Looked like he was in all kinds of pain. I mean, all kinds of pain. There's no legs. He's got, I think, one arm missing. Looks like he's got an eye that's maybe one of them is blind. I'm looking over people's shoulder, looking at this guy. I wanted to bring him to the front, but people are, still. And he just waiting patiently, never said a word. His wife, your wife, pushing the wheelchair. And I'm trying to be as respectful I can to all these people. And, but I want to get to this guy. I could feel like there's something here. Like I got to talk to this guy. And I had shared in there that my mom possibly, I didn't know the chain of events was fixed out, but God did, that she was fixing to have her part of her legs taken off, part of them, which is very hard for me. It's still hard to even think about. And I'd mentioned it to pray for her. And anyway, this guy waited. He finally got up there. He takes my hand. He said, "Hey, son, enjoyed having you here." He said, "I just wanted to tell you, tell your mom, hang in there, that this man's praying for her." He gave his name. And he said, "Tell her, I want to tell him that use his name to encourage her. Tell her he's praying for it. He's been there." I mean, this guy's got body parts missing all over the place. He says, I just want to encourage her." And just was such a blessing. Him and his wife, and they just tried to lift me up, made a connection. I mean, man, my heart was just filled to the brim. The cup's running over. And I spent the night, left. I was traveling. I got a phone call from the pastor of that church. He said, "Hey, Brother David, I just got some news. I kind of think you would probably want to know this after watching your interaction last night with Brother." He gave his name again. And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'd really like that guy." I said, "How's he doing?" He said, "Well, I hate to say it, but he passed away this morning." I had to pull over. I just pulled over. This guy went to dialysis that morning, and he checked out. God took him home. Man, it's still emotional to me. I just pulled over. And I had two phone calls come at the same time. This pastor's phone call I picked up first. The other one, I didn't know who it was. I'm a wreck. I pulled over. I'm crying. Man, I was just like, my gosh, it was like, he said, "You're one of the last people he talked to. They left the church, went home, went to bed." And he said, I thought you might want to know." I said, "Absolutely." I sat on the side of the road praying for his wife. And then I realized I had another phone call coming in, and it was my sister. And I called her back, and she's telling me that they're going to do our mom's surgery at 8 a.m. the following morning. And I'm hundreds of miles away, And so I canceled the other meeting. Hated to do that, but I had to be. I'm coming home from Mom. And I went in, and I shared that message with my mom. I didn't tell her about him passing, but I wanted her to know what he said. It was such a powerful moment, such a powerful moment. And there's just those times in your life when God just blesses you through extreme difficulty. And you would have never saw it had you not been obedient and just did those things you needed to do. All right, back to news. That's a Dave blessing for tonight. Yeah, it's kind of a hard story, but you know what? I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to find this guy in heaven one day. I'm going to give him a big old bear hug. It was such a blessing. And probably Mom and him is already hooked up. Yeah, I seen your boy. He told me all about you. They're not suffering anymore. Praise God. Amen. Celebrate Easter. Praise God. All right. Dan Bongino. I like Dan Bongino. I've liked his show. I liked his insight into Secret Service, police work. He's a straight shooter kind of guy. He He was brought in, uh, to do some things for the administration. He was an NYPD officer from 95 to 99. He was a Secret Service agent from 99 to 2011. He didn't have direct experience in the FBI as a deputy director. He'd never done that. And it broke a 117-year tradition of career FBI agents holding the deputy director role. His appointment was by, and we're going to look at Kash Patel in a moment as well. Kash Patel, who also was obviously close to Trump. And Bongino has spent a long time being critical of the FBI. He was very critical of some of the Secret Service, especially around Butler, Pennsylvania, and what happened there. So his show is, he left a very lucrative show to serve in this capacity at the request of the president. It is a challenging transition because he is, again, taking over, and you have all those people that are on the inside. They don't, they're mad that you got it. They may even like you, but they're mad that you got it because they're not, people are looking to domino up, slot up. That's what happens. And then everybody behind them, as this one moves up, this one moves up. That's what happens in companies, right? Somebody retires, somebody leaves, whatever. You start the movement. Well, this was, he was brought in. So I get that. I understand that. And they would feel like that. It was political, obviously, but, Trump wanted some people that he was close to and understood and felt like they would do things. The promise is Bongino pledged to restore integrity and eliminate political bias and focus on core missions like counterintelligence and crime fighting. He emphasized supporting field agents and rebuilding public trust. The challenges, again, were lack of experience, a history of, and some don't like it. We all talk conspiracy theories. We do, until we can show the facts of them. They call it that. Some, there are people in the country that don't like him because they feel like he's kind of a radical. He obviously, his take on January 6th, which we support, and the 2020 election, et cetera, et cetera. The FBI has taken its fair set, amount of criticism. There's a lot of turmoil there. There's been problems there. And so a lot of people welcome this as a refreshing change from the status quo. So there's some promises made. There were some challenges that he faced. There's some positive indicators. Positive indicators would be that there was a lot of support that came out for this move. I think the American people were giddy about it. Much of the Trump supporters, MAGA, conservatism. They were excited about this pick, very much so. They saw him as a bold move, an outsider, fix the issue, a cop's cop. And Patel's backing of this, and Trump's backing of it. I mean, this looked like a win-win. Very early on, Bongino. And by the way, over the weekend there was some Bongino news. Some news guy bloated up that he got hurt. He was out there, scrapping with the guys. He said, he said, I'm not injured. They try to make it sound like he got this big injury. He said, I'm bruised up a little bit. He goes, but look how old I am. And he said, but I want to get out there. So he's enjoyed doing that, much like Pete Hegseth. We're not going to look at him tonight, but Pete's in the news again. We'll look at him next week. But Pete, got out there and tried to, do some of the workouts and stuff with his guys running and everything else. I admire him for that. I do. Bongino paid respects to the FBI's Wall of Honor. He signaled respect for fallen agents and promised to have the back of field agents. In April of this year, he had this statement: actions that aren't immediately visible do not equate to inaction. So he's trying to say there's a lot that going on behind the scenes. So I want to be fair to that. So, he's got some very good positive things. Now some negatives, just to balance here a little bit. Some have noted there's a lack of transparency. And some of the public have said we don't see a lot of specific actions or policy changes under his leadership. That doesn't mean it's not coming, but I think it's fair to question it as of now, because he's not. There's not. I mean, you don't hear about them in the news a whole lot. I mean, what's happened with this? Maybe being that who they are and what they are, maybe that would lead to that a little bit. They might be a little more silent running with the news. I get that. I do understand all that. There's a lot of conservatives that are demanding action, and they believe that, Bongino spoke a big game. It's not practice. It's not a game, it's practice. I mean, Iverson said. I love that. I think I'll play that one day on a show. That he talked a big game and he's not delivering. Now that's fair. I think that's fair. And I think that the guys on Killer Carl, I heard them talking about it a little bit. I saw some of the show. I love the show, by the way, Killer Carl. If you're not following Killer Carl on Rumble, do that. We drink the 55coffee.com here in the studio. You've heard me say it many times. And use that promo code, Carl15. It's a great coffee, and you're going to get a discount. You help Killer Carl. Go watch his show. I love those guys. And gals. Let me not be disrespectful here to the ladies, or lady that I've seen come on there. The daughter of one of the guests. Very well versed. Enjoyed her comments and her commentary. So the swiftness of action has not occurred. A lot of people wanted to see more things happen. So the initial FBI code of honor within their own ranks, they were a little resistant at first. That's also, being seen as a little bit of a negative, as they viewed it as slap in the face. And again, some are questioning these overall operational concerns, because the role requires managing sensitive operations, surveillance, undercover work, etc., and liaising with Congress and international partners. And so some have been a little critical of that. And maybe we could say he's getting his feet wet and getting grounded into the role, because there's a lot that's going on. But the real extreme indicators here so far, as we sit here tonight, is there's no action on rooting out the deep state work that was going on in the FBI. We're real frustrated. But let's not forget the jackboot stuff that's went on with the FBI and others. But the jackboot operations that they've done for several years now on American citizens. And it's time for action. I'll say that. There needs to be some tangible evidence of some action by now. I mean, first week or two, you're getting your office set up, getting the name changed, the nameplate changed on the door. You're getting your email set up. Okay, there's some training videos, Mr. Bongino, Mr. Deputy Director. We got to get you these videos. It's required. We got to get you IT stuff set up. We got to get you security access codes, all that stuff that you need. You got some press conferences to do, the dailies, and, you're going to visit a couple of shows. Here's some we're going to be in some briefings and stuff that's going on. Easy, man, get it. I get that. But it's April the 20th. What's going on with the rest of this? And where are these, where are these people at that should have been fired already? They still have a job. I think that's fair. And again, it's interesting he made that quote that not everything is visible. I think he's feeling the heat a little bit too. This role is demanding. It has a lot of tentacles to it, and it wraps around the world literally, as well as here at home. The FBI is involved in so much, but and I know you can't come in and fire everybody right off the bat. You got to keep things running. But I think this far in, I think it's fair to say there should have been some moves toward that. Supporters have given him a grade. Some supporters will give him a grade as high as a B thus far. His loyalty to the Trump vision and what he's trying to bring there and getting out there with the men. Critics would say a D or an F, and you saw my picture that I put on the show. A, B, C, D, F. Yeah. I was thinking about this today. They made the grading scale for most of us. Now it's numbers and stuff, all kinds of different benchmarks they use. But we got the A plus, A minus, all those. And you could get a D minus and still pass a class. We figured all that out. You just didn't want the F. I mean, F, you don't need an F plus, F minus, right? It's F. It's fail, right? We can say, but Dad, it was an F plus. I don't think that works. That's doomed for you to come home with a D. But you can still say, but I'm passing the class. I mean, barely. I think it's fair right now. And I know some would disagree with me. You can't please everybody. And I'm not even trying to please them. And I don't disagree with other people's grades. I think right now, I would be comfortable giving him a C. Maybe could you go high low in the C category? Yeah. I'm just going to say a straight C. Because he is dealing with such sensitive stuff. And he's got to find out who the players are and who's on the team and who's not on the team, who's the backstabbers. It's going to take a little while. I always said, as a pastor coming in or a person new in a role, it really does take about 2 years to really get into a role. You're in for the long haul. Now, he can't wait 2 years. I get that. I'm not saying that. But really, 2 years is where you kind of learn everything. I mean, it takes a full 6 months to kind of feel like you got, a handle on kind of how things have went, where you're going, and you start, putting your thoughts into the role, whether you're a manager or that pastor or whatever. It's a manager too, and you move on it, and then you start putting your changes in. You don't come in day one and start making changes. I get that. It's disruptive, but I do think that a couple of people should have been fired day one. I'm disappointed in that. So I think the C grade is fair. Some would say F. Some would say B. I don't think anybody here would say an A. I could be wrong on that. But I think with Dan Bongino, I like Dan. This is not a shot at Dan Bongino. Although we could be hardcore that way. I'm going to say a C. Anybody want to post something? Y'all being quiet. Barry, thank you. I'm seeing your post. Does Dan Bongino have the access that he had from before? Well, I think he's got more now. Much more. I mean, he was a field agent. So his access is way high. Yeah, and you're correct, Barry. Nobody has moved as swiftly as Trump. Absolutely correct. Barry, is this something you're having tonight, or you're thinking about the festival? Get to eat a grilled pimento cheese with bacon. I've never been a pimento cheese fan. Sorry. Just not. Pam Bondi. Let's look at Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi came in with a lot of fanfare. I remember Rob was so fired up about Pam Bondi. I remember my co-host. He called me, "Oh, have you seen Pam Bondi? Oh." Now, how much of that was how she looked? I think it was fair to say some of that was he thought she looked great. But he did, and I gigged him on it. I'm like, come on, man. I think blonde hair got you. He's, well, there's some of that, but because I think she's a good conservative voice. I think she'll do good as the U.S. Attorney General. I think so. But she come in talking a lot of stuff. She talked a lot of high-profile moves very early on. On the first day, she issued orders to align the Justice Department with Trump's priorities, supporting mass deportation efforts. Check. Success. She Cut funding to sanctuary cities. Check. She aided states with the death penalty, promoting, taking care of those cases that have been out there for so long and supporting that. Check. Another one. She sent the letter demanding from Kash Patel the release of Jeffrey Epstein-related documents, accusing the FBI of withholding files. Some criticized that. Others praised it. They praised her pick as an 18-year prosecutor and 8 as Florida's Attorney General. Excuse me. And in that role, she tackled drug abuse and human trafficking. She talked tough. Maybe nobody else, except maybe Robert Kennedy Jr., just because of what he's dealing with, has had as much loud opposition. Some of that she brought her herself. I have been critical of Pam Bondi. Highly critical. She had a couple of missteps early, very early, and I called her on it too. And to date, she has failed on releasing all of the information that was promised. Where are the full Epstein files? The early releases that she had was a huge misstep. The first release that she had of any files was so heavily redacted, there was not anything there that could be gleaned from it. That's not, and it was bragging about all these things being on the desk and was going to get those out. That was not handled great. It was pretty bad. And a lot of people were very upset. Barry says, I agree with the C, but I think his position is more shock value. Maybe. That's a good comment, Barry. I hear you. And I think that's fair. Let's see. Like I said, Pam Bondi came out and she talked a lot. She wrote some very strongly worded letters. And some have been critical of all of these for their time in front of the camera, getting on some of the shows and being on Fox News and, maybe being too active with that when they should be active within rescuing the country. There's some that have given her an F in her role so far. Some of her defenders say, listen, it's only been 75 days as of today, about 75 days. Major investigations take times. Her supporters would say that she is decisive and commanding, that the Epstein issue is contentious. Well, sure it is. But we got to get this stuff out and we got to heal. Some say blame the FBI on the resistance and not her. That's the bottleneck. Possibility of some of that. That her focus is on Trump's deportation and crime policies. Aligns with her base's expectations. And she's avoided any major legal missteps so far. So those are some positives. Weighing both sides of this, some would say she deserves a C plus to a B. That's a little high for me right now. A C plus to a B. The low end of the scale would say D or F. It's really hard because I will give her a little bit of credit that there could be some people that she's dealing with that are holding her up. But she made the mistake of saying, I have them, they're on my desk, they're ready to go. And she really blowed that bad. I mean, it was a bad look. I could go here D plus or C minus and be comfortable with both. And the fact that it's only been 75 days, I tend to go to the C minus. but the tough rhetoric and the really not delivering on that initial release, it was so badly botched. It wasn't even formatted right. I mean, it was a bad format too. It wasn't even really a good readable format. I'm going to have to go D plus here. C on Bongino, D plus on Pamela. She can recover nicely and quickly. These are fluctuating scales, and we can look at them again next week. But I'm going to, and we'll look at 4 more, but we could always go back and revisit if some news pops out. But here we are, and they've released some other records. There's there's still some things out there that she needs to clean up. So I just think that it has not been to the level it should have been early on in the administration, in her role in the administration. I'm still a fan. I'm not against her right now. Others have been highly critical. But again, where is the arrest? Where is the filings? So I know it takes time, but come on. There should have been some people been indicted so far. Absolutely. Barry says there are many sanctuary cities in Georgia, including Athens, Clarkston, Atlanta, Savannah. A lot that was funded by Obama. Well, sure. I mean, they've had that agenda out there for a while around the country. They also flew a lot of flights in the middle of the night from parts unknown, bringing illegals into our cities. In Chattanooga, they brought kids in the middle of the night. Sure did. The middle of the night, they just showed up. People didn't even know they were coming. They said, "We don't have to tell you nothing." No. Kash Patel's performance as an FBI director. Another one that came in with a lot of fanfare, a lot of support from the conservative circles. They were almost, challenging Trump, like, you've got to pick this guy, nobody else. You've got to do this. He did that. Some have, he's a Trump guy, no doubt. People like what he has to say. His background as a federal prosecutor and national security aide. He was confirmed as FBI director in February 2025 by a 51-49 Senate vote after a very contentious hearing. He's known for his vocal criticism of the deep state. Okay, Kash. Yes, you are. And pledges to reform the FBI, aligning with Trump's agenda. His tenure began amid controversy over his past promotion of, again, some of those things that people think he shouldn't be talking about, which we know there's a lot of truth there as far as elections and other things. So some being fair to all sides. His positive assessments, they view him as a bold reformer. They argue that he's tackling FBI again, like Bongino again, the director, deputy director, FBI politicization, restoring public trust and prioritizing law enforcement over bureaucracy. Senator Lindsey Graham, who has his problems. Senator Lindsey Graham has called him the right man to clean up the FBI, and former National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien lauded his counterterrorism experience and bravery in hostage rescue missions. This all came out around that time, if you remember. Patel has pushed to decentralize the FBI's command structure, dividing it into 3 regions, East, West, Central, and reducing headquarters staff to boost field operations. This aligns with his promise to make the agency less Washington-centric, which some see as a practical step towards efficiency. Unlike some past FBI directors, he has embraced the spotlight. Some of them like to hide in the shadows behind the trench coat. He's attended high-profile events, including UFC fights, NHL games with Wayne Gretzky. And supporters see this as a very savvy move to humanize the FBI and counter its aloof image. He has tremendous White House support. White House spokesperson Harrison Field stated this month that Patel is excelling in his role at the FBI and delivering outstanding results. Criticisms and concerns. This one was a shocking thing because he was put over the ATF as well. But he was removed this month from that ATF director. And the criticisms about that was that he didn't show up to the ATF in weeks. Some have said that the FBI duties were too demanding, but critics argue that he left the agency leaderless, potentially undermining public safety. There's a lack of transparency around his removal, and it has the look of some disorganization, and it was shocking. I mean, it's not a good look. I don't care what they say. If you had said, well, we just had him as a temporary, we've now got this person in place, but the accusation is he wasn't showing up, he wasn't there. So I don't know. It was very odd how all this happened. It was odd when it was announced, to be honest. It was a little odd. Oh, he's over ATF as well. And then his removal without a whole lot of talk about it. They've not really spent a lot of time talking about that. The Democrats are not going to like him, obviously, because of his connection to Trump and his conservatism and all the things that that he does. Reports indicate Patel has been less visible in the day-to-day FBI operation, with some insiders noting he prioritized public appearances over substantive leadership. An ex-post from Cannon Forum, April 17th, 3 days ago, called him, quote, a do-nothing blowhard without leadership ability, end quote. And this is reflecting a lot of frustration among conservatives and them being critical. And they're not happy with Cash. Some colleagues have claimed that, or former colleagues rather, have claimed, we'll give you federal public defender Michael Caruso has described him as a middling performer with limited management experience, questioning his readiness to lead a complex agency like the FBI. Others have been stronger. Senator Mike Lee says he aced his confirmation hearings. He aced it despite opposition. He read the room well. He covered himself. But there are a lot of Trump supporters. This is not me making it up. It's out there. You can go read it. There's a lot of Trump supporters. They're saying this guy's not getting it done. They expected action, just like in the other two. They expected action, and thus far, there's been no action. Not much. I know it's been less time, but you know what? They promised the speed. This administration has been moving with speed, but where is the action on this? There's I think, some work to be done there. And he can still come out of this looking very well. He has probably, and I don't think all this is maybe his fault. The ATF thing is odd. Not really sure what was going on with that. I'd like to look a little further into it. That obviously didn't work. So we can't, that's got to take off his grade, because if he wasn't showing up and he wasn't being an effective leader, after all, you can't be an effective leader if you're not there. And he's, it was just that whole thing was a bust. So there's no way he could have a high grade. So I will go as well C here, but I'm going to say C minus. C minus. This could be brought up, just like the others. This could be brought up, but it's not a good look thus far on that part. And I would like a little more clarification on what the ATF role was and why was he removed. I understand you don't want to criticize your boy. I get that, but you know what? Not much explanation is given on this. They didn't give a lot of explanation when he was placed there, and they for sure didn't give enough explanation when he was removed from there. So it's very, very odd, very, very odd. Not sure, how to take it other than that, So let's move on. So hopefully, assign your own grades. But this is just looking fairly. Some is a straight F for all three of these across the board because they have not moved, they have not acted, and so we'll see. Let's move on to the last one. Robert Kennedy Jr. Health and Human Services. Health and Human Services. he's a lot of people lauded this. This is the one that I wondered if he would even get confirmed. I was a little concerned about it, that he would even be confirmed in that role, because of there was a lot of opposition to him. I mean, Democrats, his own family, didn't support him, and you know, Democrats, they didn't care for him. The Bidens treated him with horribly. Um, 1 second, responding here. He has came in. He's been very vocal thus far about autism, which is important. I think that's definitely something should be focused on. And he had said a lot of things previously out there before he was announced. I mean, he was out there already, and talking about some of these issues and about things that are in, water. There's a lot of, information coming out. Some of the podcasts are even covering that. The protections themselves. I'm trying to stay away from the V word, only because one of our streams will. I thought about it. I would have dropped them out for this show. They will ban us for a week. Ain't that crazy? We got banned for a week for even saying the V word, and I would think that you would understand what that is. Somebody asked me today, what is the two letters stand for? And I was telling them, but they're one of the platforms, YouTube. Did I say that? They ban us for a week. So, but he's an advocate. Make America healthy again. Been a big rally cry for Robert Kennedy Jr. And I think he taps into a lot of American sentiment about how they feel about what's being, put into their body and our foods and all that stuff. His role has maybe even a greater impact for all of America than maybe any other one. If handled right, if he's able to get the things done that are harming Americans that we all are frustrated about, this role could really be impactful. And we'll just have to wait, and see. His strengths. Robert Kennedy Jr. has been he's been a big proponent of being transparent. He wants to get you the information about what's in stuff. He wants that, and he wants to get it out. He is really focused on chronic disease and prevention. Again, speaking to some of those things, he is highly critical of some of the pharmaceuticals and things that they're putting into medicines and some of the stuff that they're putting by those pharmaceuticals into the body. He wants to have a stricter food regulations. He's already made some moves to get rid of some things, the red dye and things like that. And he he really wants to reform the FDA, the CDC. This is monumental. I mean, it could have, like I said, it has the ability to change the face of this for decades off of his. I mean, he's got his opponents. There's no doubt. He has his critics. They don't like what he has to say about certain things. They believe let's be honest, they think he's a nut. They think he's crazy, and the things that he says does not hold water. A lot of Americans would disagree. He does have a lack of experience managing such a big bureaucracy as the HHS. They have a $1.7 trillion budget. My gosh. First of all, maybe we need to reduce some of the budget. I think he's working on that too. He's actually working on downsizing some of these departments, this inflated bureaucracy in some of these. People would like a little bit more on his views about, because he's been highly critical of some Medicare and Medicaid. And, people have, they don't like, he's a lightning rod wherever he goes. Whenever he appears, he's a lightning rod. I think that's fair, because when he speaks, people are really listening. I mean, there's a lot of people that love him. There's a lot of people that hate him, like a lot of these. But how's he done? He says that he's going to handle and tackle this autism issue and get results. Now that's big talk. I'm not saying he can't. I hope he does. It has exploded, it seems like to me. And a lot of people have different theories about why that's happening. But that's one of his top 3 agenda items, is getting a handle on autism. And I applaud that. And getting, downsizing these bureaucracies, their budget. Of course, his views on the World Health Organization, I would stand with him on a lot of that. And, creating these transparency and getting these departments like the CDC a little more transparency, letting people know what's going on, especially what happened in 2020 and going forward with that time frame. So he has a lot that he's very active on social media. I see his posts constantly. I mean, he rivals Trump. He rivals the president. He is very much into the digital age. He loves getting that information out there. He is constantly posting on social media about some of these things. And so that's kind of refreshing that you're seeing this and you're seeing kind of how they think and what he's thinking about. And when he uncovers something, he's throwing it out there. I like that. So I give him a lot of credit there. So great for him. I think right now is still really very high. He's really just now, he's been active, very much so. He has taken on, and he's making some bold claims. Now, his grade will rise or decrease depending on how his outlook happens and what he's able to do in the weeks and months ahead. But I think, because a lot of people feared that he was going to come in and it's going to be bad, it's going to be a horrible pick, and I say right now he's an A, because I think that he has been able to take on a lot of what we're talking about in America, and his actions towards the water and foods and stuff like that, I give him high marks, because for decades Americans have been frustrated by what they see, being pumped into the food supplies and the seeds, the ground, everything in America, and he's tackling that. I give him credit, so I give him an A. It's one of those, feast or famine kind of positions, because he's wanting to make major moves and quickly, which is a good thing, but also it has some landmines associated with it if he missteps in the public eye. So one thing you don't want to there's 2 things you don't want to mess with and make it. You got to make it right. People's money and their food. If you blow it, if you blow the food, the critics are hard, right? Well, I went to this restaurant. Let me tell you what happened to me. So he's on a huge scale, and he affects so many things that are going on. And I think this one is going to be fun to watch, and it's going to impact a lot of Americans, maybe every American out there. And it is for him so very early in. It's really hard to grade him, because some things he can't move too quickly on, because they've got to provide some data and facts. He's got to look at what's out there. He's got to look at what else it may need to look at. He's talking elimination of autism. I don't know. But if he could reduce that to a very low number, I'd say that's a huge win for him. If he cleans up what's going in the food supply, he gets a hold of what's crossing into our country from other nations. He helps the American farmer. He gets the water better. I mean, this guy, his star could sell real high. And I don't think right now that I would look at anything he's done and say he's bombed out. He's firing on all cylinders and he's moving fast. And there's no inactivity for him. He's talking big too, but he's delivering. Your opinions, but that's the way I see it. I think he's really moving really quickly. I like what he's doing. But like I said, he has such a wide range of things that's a huge departments, huge budget, and he has to navigate that in a very public way. But he doesn't shy away. I applaud him for that. The only criticism of Robert Kennedy is the way he talks. I'm not saying it's the only one. He's got his critics, but even for supporters alike, that voice of his. Rob, my co-host, I can't stand here and talk. Come on, man. Just get over that. Yes, Barry says, I would hope RFK would deal with corporations and stuff they put in our food, the chance to clean up America's food industry. It's huge, my brother. And he said, yes, getting rid of all the red dyes and colors and food. Water supply, food supply, autism, the big three, and the downsizing of those departments and the budget, not to where it would impact. Because people are saying, oh, we're not going to be able to do our job. We're not going to be able to keep America safe. It's already impacting our ability to study diseases and the food and all that. We're going to hear big cries about that. But I think that we're going to see him have a tremendous impact in his first year. Barry says one thing to think about, all four listed by Gino, Patel, Bondi, and RFK, if they don't have a team like Elon to go in and clean up. True. So fair. I absolutely want to balance it. We could have thrown the flamethrowers on them. And there's a tendency to want to do that. There's some frustration building for some of these cabinet members. They've got some things they've been able to be really positive about, but people are getting a little antsy right now. Like, are you a blowhard? Are you just talking smack and you got up there and now you're not doing nothing? Are you ready to be a patriot? Are you really ready to be America first? Are you really ready to fight for conservatism and MAGA? Or are you just giving lip service to it? And if you do, when you come out of this, it's not going to be good for you. And that's truth. So I think that's fair. I was Beverly Boss, one of the listeners of Killer Carl. I don't know if you're still in here. Appreciate you so much, but I know I heard they're talking about Bongino, and the flamethrowers was definitely out. And they made the statement, which I agree with. If he doesn't deliver, he will not be able to reclaim the commentary post, the podcast post, news radio, or the radio host in a level that he did before. It's going to damage his star big time. So it's a huge gamble for him. He's got to deliver here. He's got to deliver. Now, I'm not saying he's got to live up to everybody's expectations 100%, but he's got to make some tremendous moves to get some things done. Americans want answers. We want justice. Justice. Now, what does justice look like in different people's eyes? That can be, everybody's got a different idea of what that is. But certainly there should be some indictments, there should be some arrests, there should be some terminations that I think should have already happened. That's my opinion. It's early. But, when you go down to the docks, Sal and Vinny, they got to deliver. You can't say, well, it's been, only 75 days. They would say, the boss don't want to hear that. Get it done. You can't go and tell President Trump, well, it's only been 75 days. You got to give me some more time. Trump's going to say, "You're making me look bad. Got to get busy. Speed." And I think that's pretty fair. I'm sorry. I saw someone trying to call in on Podbean. I'm sorry that I missed that. We thank you for listening into Podbean. Thank you for all the streams. We have some nice numbers in here tonight. Thank you for that. We appreciate you. Dave in the AM with the Southern Fried Podcast. This is the SFP News Desk, coming live from the banks of the Southern Fried River that gently weaves its way through the state of Georgia. And my voice is wanting to act my throat. Sorry for that. Allergies. My car looks like a green car. It's a red truck, but it looks green. I was trying to wipe my windows off today. I got to wash that thing. Stuff's everywhere. But it gently weaves its way to South Georgia, Studio B, where Rob is not in the studio tonight, but he will be in the morning. We appreciate your support of the Southern Fried Podcast. We're now an LLC, officially named Southern Fried Cornbread Nation in the state of Georgia. Our website, just for information purposes, our website should drop tomorrow or Tuesday. We will announce that. This is big because it's going to allow us to get a lot of these things in the same room that we need to get. We need to get everything in the same place because a lot of people don't know the other things we have. They don't know the other channels we're on. They don't know the big, the small, it will give you links for all of that. It will also have a link to our landing page for Patriot Mobile, all of our affiliate stuff. We hope to have an embeddable player in there too. I don't know if that'll be the initial drop, but we hope to have an embeddable player that's playing our programs all the time. And of course, links to those, you can find a lot of those hold our program, especially YouTube and Rumble. Thank you. So thankful for Rumble. They hold all that. So that should drop quickly. And you're going to be seeing us move forward with some things, especially the Southern Fried Coffee and the Cornbread Nation coffee blends that we will ship to you for the coffee drinkers of the world. That we hope to push through really quick. And our email campaign, which we haven't kicked off yet, we got to get that moving too. So we would hope that you will allow us to send you an email once a week, no more, and kind of keep you updated. We'll have our newsletter blog on our website as well. For those that would like to do it, me and Rob will have a place to make commentaries and things like that. So trying to bring it all together, bring it on home. The first festival went well. We had a few technical issues. When we get those straightened out, we'll get Vinny and Sal on it. And next festival is in July, indoor. I'll be in the house. We're going to make sure it happens this time. And we're going to work that thing even harder. We'll also be at a festival in October. Not Oktoberfest. Greenhouse Festival. The Greenhouse Festival here in Chickamauga, Georgia. And we're going to go to another one. We're not sure what month, but maybe in the fall. Probably a September or November, somewhere in there. Before the holidays hit, we'll do another festival. Before it gets cold. The July is indoor. Thank goodness for that. My gosh. July. I've done a few of those. I've been a vendor at July events. Woo. Talk about being exhausted. Just wrung out. That's rough, especially here in the South, the humidity we have. Let's pray for the president, the administration. Hopefully, Monday will bring news that will be much better than the news over the weekend, the limiting of the deportation flights. Let's get those cranked back up. We can laugh at the Democrats more because they're still going to be crying about their boy down in El Salvador. Now, let's call out some of these people on some of the things, actions they're doing. Breaking the law. Breaking the law, as Jewish priests would say. Let's take action. Breaking the law, let's take action. That's what we expected. That's what we demanded. Let's take action when these people are breaking the law. We hope you have a great night. just flies by. There's so much to talk about. I didn't even get to many news articles. There's a lot of news out there. I want to get to the grades. We'll do this again next week. We'll have an hour of news, and then we'll get to grades again. We'll pick 4 more, and we'll revisit these 4 briefly if we need to, if something drops this week that raises or lowers their grade. And we'll write down those grades that we had, and we'll compare. We'll kind of get a scale going of where they're going, high or low, or flatline. There could be that. Make the switch today to Patriot Mobile. Support this great company. Use that promo code Cornbread and make the switch today. It's like I said, I'll be on touch with them on the AM. I'll be after the show. I'm going to give them a call. They're in Texas. And, Rumble Studios acting up. I did not say you could leave. So if you're in Rumble Studio, 1 second. Not done yet. Not done yet. There we go. Don't be doing me like that. We're also in the content creator program for Rumble. Get Rumble today. Download it. If you don't already have Rumble, download it. We do run some Rumble only, premium only shows. We got a couple things we've got to get released early this week that should have already been released. We've had life issues come in. That will all happen tomorrow. Let's pray for Dean, my co-host in the Southern Fried Racing Hour. Surgery in the AM. Knee replacement surgery. I don't think he minds that. I don't remember the date on that, Barry, but we need to get the date on that. Make sure that we have that date. That's a good question. Trump's 100 days. Presidents are measured on that. Absolutely. And Podbean is dropping them, but they only go 2 hours. Goodbye, folks. God bless you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for playing. We got some programming that'll be dropping tomorrow. I'm off work for a couple of days. I've got to take the granddaughter to the ortho, and I want to get caught up on a couple of things. Remember my wife in prayer. She's recovering from 2 minor strokes. It's really robbed her of the ability to speak well. It's a little weaker, but they're treating her. But I would appreciate your prayers for her. Pray for our podcast. And may we always promote Jesus Christ here and our faith in Christ. And so we appreciate it. But hey, have a great night. We're going to get off of here. We'll go out with some music. We'll see you in the morning. God bless. Take care. It's great to be an American. It's great to be a person of freedom. Absolutely love those things that we have in America. Let's promote Americanism, USA first, American first. Let's not worry about the world, what they've got to say. Let's support each other in this, our freedoms. And let's stand for freedom. We've lost some freedoms. We need to stand on that. We'll see you in the morning. Take care.
That's Robert and Dave, y'all. Southern Fried, talking wide, live shows, we keep it tight. SFP, bring the heat, every day and every night. We talk Southern things, boots and rings, front porch rocking while the rooster sing. From the morning prayer to the evening chat, if you ain't tuned in, where you at? We keep it real, we keep it right. Southern folks talking all day and night. Wake up early with that morning funny, coffee in hand, sky's kinda sunny. Dave in the AM, talking about the day, mag a minute, devotion, hey, we don't play. Mondays, mama says she's speaking wise. Hump day news, y'all better recognize. Friday's prayer live, hands to the sky. Sunday morning in the word testify. We talk Southern things, boots and rings, front porch rocking while the rooster sing. From the morning prayer to the evening chat, if you ain't tuned in, where you at? We keep it real, we keep it right. Southern folks talking all day and night. Tuesday night, it's night talk deep. Dave's got stories that'll cut you deep. Front porch talking past the tea. Gossip about town and who's who see. Veteran of the week, salute and stand. Pets of the week, yeah, we love that clan. Recorded talks from crime to ghosts. We cover it all, yeah, we do the most. So hit that link, don't miss a beat. SFP's where the South folks meet. Laughter, prayer, or tales so bold. Southern humor with a heart of gold. We talk Southern things, boots and rings, front porch rocking while the rooster sang. From the morning prayer to the evening chat, if you ain't tuned in, where you at? We keep it real, we keep it right. Southern folks talking all day and night. So subscribe, tune in, grab a chair. Robert and Dave, y'all know we're there. From Southern fried tales to prayerful days, we bring that Southern fire in every way.